And I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go get certified. I'm going to be a colon hydrotherapist. I'm going to open up like this world-class facility. It's going to look like a wellness center. It's going to be bougie, clean, clinical, have a naturopathic doctor on site. And that's exactly what we did.
You're listening to the Digest This podcast, and I'm your host, Bethany Cameron. We're talking about colonics today, and did you know colonics can not only help with constipation, but also help with infertility, hair loss, anxiety, chronic acne, hormonal issues, mold toxicity, and help rid the body of parasites and candida? Marina the Poop Fairy joins me in today's conversation as she shares her personal story, as well as all the benefits and ins and outs, no pun intended, of colonics, enemas, castor oil packs, and pooping. This taboo topic should not be taboo, but sadly, many Americans are suffering in silence, embarrassed to address one of life's most regular functions. Well, at least it should be regular. And that's pooping. We're taking you through what a colonic entails, the process, benefits, who can benefit, and who is not a candidate. This is an episode you'll want to save, share, and listen to again and again. We have so much fun in this interview, so without further ado, let's get started. Hey, can I ask a quick favor? If you guys are enjoying this podcast and all of these interviews and the information that I put out, if you could do me a huge favor and give this a 5-star rating and review, it really does help the show. It helps it just climb the charts, and it helps me. You can support it without putting out any money, and it's a free way to really show your love and support in that you do enjoy my podcast. So if you could do that, it takes like 2 seconds. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, Marina, let's talk all things poop. And I think this is a taboo topic that's not talked about enough. And before we even get into the weeds, I like to start my podcast with rapid fire, yes or no questions. I start high level. So you can only answer yes or no. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay, yes or no. Can you reabsorb your poop?
No.
If you don't poop 3 times a day, is that considered constipation?
Yes.
Can you be pooping every day and still be constipated?
Yes.
Is consuming more fiber making constipation worse?
Yes.
Can colonics help if you have mold toxicity?
100%. Yes.
Can toxic poop be a cause of infertility?
Very good possibility. Yes.
Ooh, okay, last question. Can you rid your body from parasites if you don't get colonics?
Yes.
Okay, and then this is a quick answer question. How much old poop is the average person carrying around inside them right now?
The average person, well, if they're pooping every day, typically that person that's just pooping once a day, they could be carrying anywhere from 5 to 7 pounds of poop.
If you're pooping every day.
Correct.
What if you're not pooping every day?
Oh, you can hold a lot more. Your large intestine is 5 to 6 feet long, so you can technically hold 5 pounds per foot. So that's 32 pounds. I mean, think about it. Elvis, when they did his autopsy, he literally had 32 pounds of poop just sitting in his colon.
Both our dogs, Pepper and Sadie, are incredibly important to us. And if you're a dog owner, I'm sure you can relate. We will go great lengths to make sure our furry friends are well taken care of. And the food we give them is no exception. We feed both our pups Ollie, which is fresh human-grade dog food made from real meat like beef, lamb, turkey, and chicken, plus fresh fruits and veggies you can actually see incorporated into Ollie's carefully developed recipes. Each meal plan is tailored to meet your dog's specific needs. They're perfectly proportioned in mess-free packaging and come with an easy storage pup-tainer for zero fridge stink. We personally store our extras in the freezer, and we store the current meal for the day in the refrigerator. The night before, we just take one packet out and let it thaw overnight for the next day. And since we get multiple flavors and recipes, our dogs never get bored and always look forward to mealtime. And their poops have never been more perfect. And we all know perfect poops mean a healthy pup. Your dog's well-being starts with their food, and that's why Ollie delivers fresh, human-grade food for your dog that we all love. Head to ollie.com/digest. Tell them all about your dog and use code DIGEST to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/digest and enter code DIGEST to get 60% off your first box. We are officially in the cooler months, which means hot chocolate, more coffee, and sadly, less water. At least that's been my experience. Whenever it gets cold, I often tend to drink more tea and hot beverages and forget to drink my water, which can lead to not only dehydration, but constipation, headaches, and even low energy and mood swings. In fact, when we don't drink enough water and get adequate electrolytes, we are more susceptible to getting sick because we are not flushing out toxins in our body through our urine. Thankfully, I found a trick to help me get in my hydration, including electrolytes, and that's simply by adding 1 pack of Elements raw unflavored electrolytes to my large water container that I carry around with me all day. It's not enough just to drink plain water. We often need essential minerals to help balance out our body and keep hydrated. Elements raw unflavored version contains no sugar, no flavorings, no coloring, and no fillers. It has a science-backed electrolyte ratio of salt, magnesium, and potassium, and their unflavored version has only those 3 ingredients: no maltodextrin, no natural flavors, stevia, monk fruit, or anything else I wouldn't put into my body. But hey, if you're not a fan of unflavored, they also have options like watermelon, citrus, raspberry, and even chocolate salt, which you can drink warm as a hot chocolate alternative. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited for those following a keto, low-carb, vegan, or paleo diet. Right now, they're offering my listeners a free sample pack with any purchase. That's 8 packets for free with any Element order. To get 8 free packs, you must go to drinkelement.com/digest to get this offer. That's drinkLMNT.com/digest. And they also have a no questions asked refund policy, so you can try it totally risk-free. If you don't like it, they will give you your money back, no questions asked. You really have nothing to lose. Go to drinkLMNT.com/digest. Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yes. Okay. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell my listeners who you are and what you do?
Okay, my name is Marina Ortega. I'm actually the founder of Scottsdale Hydrotherapy. It's a wellness center here located in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we primarily focus on colonics. And we also have Hocket, which is an ozone sauna, and then we also have lymphatic drainage. So we're really helping people detox more at a cellular level. I'm also the founder of Trust Your Gut. That's our sister company. And we decided to bring wellness tools into people's homes so they can naturally detoxify with castor oil packs, with coffee enemas, with our herbal digestive tea. And we wanted to make it very affordable and high quality so everyone can bring these tools into their home if they're dealing with constipation or mold, or just you're healthy and you just want to detox and need just a little bit of help. Yeah.
Okay. So let's again start high level. Explain the difference between colonics and enemas.
So enema, you typically will only get about 12 inches, so maybe like a foot into the large intestine if you're doing an at-home enema. With the colonic, each time we're going to get further and further and further. So I don't believe that it's like one colonic, one and done. I'm a big believer in doing a couple of them, because think about it, we're merely taking highly filtered warm water and we're filtering the colon in a colon hydrotherapy session. So each time it's like we're chipping away at it and getting a little further each time. So you can get pretty far in one session, but I do find if you're looking for like a reset or some sort of a detox, you're going to probably need about 3 sessions, and you'll want to do them as close as you can, like within a 10-day period of time. Because think about it, as the colon, we go in there for your first session, everything's nice and wet and moist, and then you wait like 2 weeks, it's like, the poop dries up and gets hard. So your large intestine, the poop is like boulder clay, like hard, right? It's dehydrated a lot of the times. So each time we're just filtering it with water. So the closer you can get them, the better, the more beneficial it's going to be for you.
Okay. Yeah. I think of it as like if you had like hard dirt and you wanted to loosen up the dirt.
Yep.
you would want to water it a lot, and then you don't want to water it in a month from now. You want to keep watering it to really loosen it up every single day, or very often. So I'm actually getting a colonic tomorrow in light of everything. And I don't know if you know this, but my followers do. I am dealing with mold toxicity right now. And so I was like, you know what? I need to start implementing colonics into my detox process, because I think maybe that could be the missing piece to the puzzle and to really help the detoxing. So that's going to be happening tomorrow. But I have had many colonics in the past, but it's been a while. It's been like since 2016. So it's been a while. But I was getting them when I was really, really sick. And so that helped a lot. So I'm like, you know what? Let's get back into the game and let's see what happens. So give us the dirty details of how a colonic is performed. Like, give us everything. Is it a private room? Can you see the fecal matter? Everything.
So we have the Angel water system. So it's an open water system. So basically, like I said, when you're doing colon hydrotherapy, we're taking highly filtered warm water. So it couldn't be any more organic. Now, the client will insert the rectal nozzle. The rectal nozzle is very small. It's kind of the size is kind of the size of a number 2 pencil. And the client will educate and go through a bunch of education with you, and look at your intake form, obviously. And we'll chat for 15 to 20 minutes, walk you through the anatomy of how the colonic is and just the education behind it, right? And then basically, in order to get started, I will step out of the room. The client will insert it. There's only one way into your rectum. It's lubed up. You can't screw it up. And it doesn't hurt. It doesn't pinch. It just goes right into your rectum. And then you'll buzz us. We'll come back in the room. We'll turn the water on. And then once we turn the water on, we begin the colon hydrotherapy session. It's a very gentle gravity-fed water that'll be going into your large intestine and basically starting to, water everything down. Every once in a while, you might feel a little gas cramp, but it'll go away as well. The session's typically about 45 minutes in regards to the intake of water. And we usually go through about anywhere from 7 to 8 gallons in a colon hydrotherapy session.
Okay. And if you have parasites, can you visibly see them be eliminated in a session?
Yes, there's a viewing tube and there's like a mirror, so you can actually see exactly what you're expelling, what's coming out of you. So you'll be able to see parasites. You'll be able to see all kinds. You'll see your poop coming out of you, basically.
Okay, and if you have candida, can this help as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. But the room environment is, we've got infrared going on. We have an infrared light. We have a biomat as well. So that'll help with the detoxification process. Sometimes the client will start off on the vibrational plate at the beginning of the session as well, just trying to get that lymph movement going. But overall, it's a really private setting. And our clients seem to really love it.
And are you in the room with them, or you leave them alone?
No, we're in the room. We're going in and out of the room, basically. So we're always checking. And then obviously we have pagers on as well.
Okay. Yeah, because I think it's important, because some people are really shy, I guess. But obviously, you have either a blanket or like a little gown that you're wearing, right?
100%. You're completely covered up. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. And then you said it takes about 45 minutes or so?
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes of water.
Okay. Now let's go back. Why would someone even want to do a colonic? What are the benefits?
There's so many different benefits. I mean, think about it. We eat 3 meals a day, right? And if you're only pooping once a day, that's not great. You want to typically be pooping after each meal. So people are doing colonics, whether they're sick, have cancer, want to be healthy, detoxing from mold. I mean, it saved my life when I was detoxing from mold. There's no question. So it's not just sick people that want to do colonics. We have a lot of professional athletes as well. The benefits are, once we start to unload and create that space and open up that space, there's all that great good bacteria that starts, coming alive and getting regenerated. And you just start to absorb your food at a higher rate, right? Because we're finding that usually if you're constipated, you're not going to be absorbing at a high level. So once we start to unload some of that, you start to absorb better, you start to feel better. I find it's like around that third colonic where people are like, oh my gosh, I have so much more energy. I can see better, less brain fog. You can see that little pep in their step,
Well, and I had asked you at the beginning, can you reabsorb your poop? And you said no. And I should have asked, does your body, if you're not pooping, right, does your body reabsorb the toxins that are accumulating, basically?
Yeah, and I was going to circle back on that. But yeah, I mean, think about it. So you're holding on to all of those toxins and to all of the meals that you're eating, and you're just reabsorbing the same thing over and over. It's called autointoxication, which just means you're highly toxic. So, when you get in that state, bad things start to happen, right? Disease loves a toxic, a really acidic environment, and things can start growing and getting out of control. It's like a landfill, right? And it's like, or like a garden, it's our terrain. And we have this beautiful garden, and then you start getting backed up and not pooping for 2, 3, 4 days, things just start loading up. Like all these weeds start happening, right? And we got to go in there and just really unload and clean it out and start the terrain and get it healthy again.
Yeah, well, this has actually happened to me where I was really sick. And it's even happened to me recently where I'll have like a flare up or something. And even though I'm pooping every day, I'm not fully evacuating. And I can tell when I'm getting toxic and I'm like, oh, I'm getting brain fog. I have an acne flare or something like that. And it's my body reabsorbing the toxins from the poop that's not being eliminated.
Correct. 100%. Yep.
That's crazy. So if someone has really bad acne, would this be beneficial for them?
Oh, we have so many relationships with estheticians, and they're sending us people all the time, and we are clearing up acne. We're seeing tremendous results for the skin.
Wow. I mean, and how fast of a turnaround?
It will probably be after anywhere from 3 to 6 sessions, we're finding.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
and their skin just
amazing.
starts to kind of glow, and it's a beautiful, magical thing.
Amazing. Now, what are some, I mean, everyone kind of knows some common symptoms of chronic constipation, but can you share some maybe uncommon symptoms that maybe people don't realize? Like common, but we don't realize that they're common. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah. Like, for example, what blows me away is people think it's normal to poop every 2 to 4 days. Like, I just had this conversation yesterday with this gal and her mom, and she's 35 years old. And we were talking, and she's like, yeah, mom, I poop like maybe once, maybe every 2 days, every 3 days. And her mom's like, what? I poop every 3 days. And she goes, I never knew this. And it's like, people are not talking about bathroom habits. They're just not. And I think that people are afraid to talk about bathroom habits. And we really need to break that norm. I mean, we've got 365 million Americans, think about it, and 110 are dealing with chronic constipation. So that's 1 out of every 3. And what I'm finding is that people just don't want to talk about it. Or it's the foreign toilet syndrome where they're like, oh, I'm traveling, so I didn't poop for 14 days when I was on vacation. I mean, we hear this and see this all the time.
Oh my gosh. Could hair falling out, could that be a symptom of chronic constipation?
That was one of mine. Yep. When I was 20, so this is over 30 years ago. So I've been doing colonics for about 30 years now. And when, back then no one talked about poop at all. I mean, one of the doctors even looked at me and said, you know what, this is all in your head and you need some anxiety medicine. And I'm like, my hair's falling out. I pooped maybe once a week if I was lucky. I was like on this 5 year, like just like this going in circles trying to get answers back in the day, and everyone just made me feel like I'm going crazy. But like I'm like, hey, I'm 20 years old, I can't poop. Like somebody help me. Had CAT scan, GI map. I mean, I did everything, and it was, and it's still happening. And that's the thing, And what we're finding, it's even worse now because Big Pharma came out in about 1920 with laxatives, and now people are addicted to laxatives and they can't get off them. They're on them for 20 to 30 years, and they're breaking their peristalsis, that wave-like motion where you're like, oop, I gotta go poop. That's that peristalsis kind of kicking in. And people are like, I don't ever feel like I have to go to the bathroom. I don't ever feel like I have to go. I'm like, wow. So it's just like this silent epidemic that people aren't talking about. And we really need to start talking about it, especially with our children. Come to find out, all these kids, these moms are like, yeah, they don't poop at school. I'm like, what? And if you think about it, I was like, wait, I don't think I pooped at school. Maybe this is where my chronic constipation stemmed from. We're like this little girl, we're not supposed to fart, we're not supposed to poop anywhere. And I'm like, maybe that's where mine stemmed from.
Wow. Can colonics be addictive? Like, can they be the same as laxatives? Do you start to rely on them?
No, you want to use colonics as more of a wellness tool. Like it took me about a year really to correct my chronic constipation, but I changed my diet. I used, I did colonics as well, and they're not addicting. You should be on a protocol, and you should, make sure you're on a protocol and working with someone, naturopath or with your colon hydrotherapist. What I do think is addicting is laxatives. I mean, it's a $8.4 billion industry to date, and it's doubled in the past 10 years. That's addicting.
Wow. What about people that rely on coffee to poop? Do you think that's harmful or do you think that's okay?
I mean, I think that's okay. I mean, I hear that from a lot of people, like, I have to have a cup of coffee and then I'll poop. And to me, I'm like, okay, that's great,
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and as long as you're still feeling that urge to go,
Yep.
and I think the laxatives eliminate that. They just make you go, if that
Correct.
makes any sense.
Yeah, but then I find they stop working, right? So now they're hopping from one laxative to the next, to the next, to the next. I mean, and this is no joke. I mean, people are on them for 20 to 30 years. We see it all the time.
Well, and could never being thirsty be a sign of chronic constipation? I know that's a weird question, but like imagine if you have a lot of poop in you and you're like, I'm just so full, I'm so bloated, like I'm just never even thirsty. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, I would say that would probably be more of a dehydration. We do find that people that are chronically dehydrated tend to be constipated because think about it, they're not getting any fluids and minerals and electrolytes. So their poop is like extremely dehydrated and hard. And in order to get that movement, you have to hydrate. That's probably one of the biggest free tips out there is make sure you're hydrating, drinking minerals, electrolytes. And if you're not thirsty, I would say, drink some water and hydrate.
Yeah. Well, I had asked you if you don't poop 3 times a day, if that is that considered constipation? And you said yes. And I don't poop 3 times a day. I go once a day. Sometimes it's twice, but 3 times a day. If we're eating 3 meals, if we're eating 2 meals, then maybe you can adjust that, right?
Yeah. And think about it. It's like basically think about everything that you ate in a day, blend it up in a blender. It's like, and that's what you should be eliminating out per day. And people just aren't. And a lot of times what I'm finding is that people are pooping, but they're like, it's not like a full bowel movement. It's like kind of a half of a bowel movement. Or I guess a better example would be like, well, it's like little rabbit turds. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's like little pebbles are coming out. And I'm thinking, yep, that's not a full bowel movement. It's not. You want it to be kind of look like a banana and just, and it's,
What
yeah,
about the ones, what about the stools that come out that look like little pencils? They're super thin. That's like that's bowel inflammation, right?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think a lot of my listeners too, like I think everyone has experienced. They're like, yeah, I went, but they were like, it wasn't a lot, and they were like super pencil like. Now, this is so fascinating, and I hope everyone's interested. But I have a question. So, when you're doing a colonic, do people ever start crying and get like emotional?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, we do see it often because there's that gut brain connection. You've got the enteric system, which is all these neurons in your gut, and then you've got the vagus nerve, and then you've got the hypothalamus gland, and it's all talking. Think about it. If something tragic happens right now, our body goes, oh, and like locks up, like our gut locks up, everything locks up, right? And you kind of go into that fight or flight mode. So we find that when people are dealing with lots of trauma, they're kind of stuck in that mode. So when they come to us and do that colonic, it's almost like let that, go, right? It's like let it go, let that release happen. And so when they're in their session, I encourage them to focus on deep breathing and just really focusing on let it go, just like let it go, emotions, whatever it is, because they're usually locked up by the time we see them just stressed or in that fight or flight mode and can't get out, hence the reason why they're constipated. So we're seeing a lot of great results come out of their colonics. And I think spiritually and emotionally, like they say, they feel better. They can't believe the release they had. They say it's kind of euphoric. I don't know how else to explain it.
Can a colonic make you or put you in a rest and digest state if you're chronically stressed?
Absolutely. Yeah. You should see people, they walk in and they're just, they're very much in fight or flight mode. They walk out, they're like, whoa, I'm so relaxed. That felt so good. A lot of our clients will say this is the favorite appointment that they have with us per month. You know what I mean? They're just so relaxed. You could just see it on their face, the way their posture is. They're back to breathing normally. We're having great conversations. Yeah, it's a game changer.
Wow, because it's almost ironic because I feel like a lot of people would come in very nervous, very uptight, and then they leave just in this relaxed state. And I'm sure you're familiar. Obviously, you just mentioned the vagus nerve. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
I think it's underrated. I don't think a lot of people talk about it, but I mean, it's one of those things where, the gut brain axis, people are like, I'm dealing with depression or anxiety. And I think a lot of it does have to do with your gut. And for example, we were working with this gal that was dealing with anxiety, and she started doing colonics with us, and she was able to taper down on her medicine. It was just absolutely fascinating, but we're holding so much in our gut from stress or from trauma. So learning to let it go, whether it's colonics, coffee enemas, we've seen some huge gains and some turnarounds with people, attitude, everything.
Okay, share how you got into this space. Did you wake up one day and you're like, I'm just gonna like help people poop?
I got into this space because, like I had said, I was that 20-year-old. I was working at corporate America. I was working as a professor. I was working about 14 hours a day, and I was dealing with chronic constipation. Well, 30 years ago, nobody talked about poop. I mean, a doctor wouldn't even really say the word poop. So I'm hopping around. It was a 5-year journey. I'm dealing with hair loss. I'm dealing with chronic constipation, maybe pooping once a week, once every 10 days. My nails were brittle, mineral deficient, and I couldn't get any answers. And the doctors kept making me feel like I was going crazy. I don't know if I mentioned it, but one of the doctors even said, Marina, it's all in your head and you need some anxiety medicine. So I did like the CAT scan, the GI test. I did everything and I wasn't getting any answers. And it wasn't until a gal said, Marina, have you tried a colonic? A naturopathic doctor said that to me. And I said, a what? She said, have you tried a colonic? I said, no, never. I'm scared, but I'm desperate and I'm not getting any answers. So I'll totally do it. So I went in for my first session. I unloaded about 7 pounds of poop. She had a little scale. It was kind of funny. And I looked at her and I said, you have absolutely changed my life. This is a game changer. I unloaded so much. I felt so much relief because I was that girl that was walking around constipated, like this hard stomach, 3 months pregnant. And like, I couldn't get any answers or couldn't get any relief. And I didn't want to get addicted to laxatives because I already knew other family members, aunts and stuff like that were on laxatives for 20 some years. And I thought, I'm not going down that route. So
Pause. Hold up. You just said 7 pounds. Did you weigh the poop?
no, I weighed myself. So I got on the
Okay.
scale. I got on the scale.
I
I
was
got
like,
on
whoa.
the Yeah, I got on the scale before the session, after the session. I mean, that's common too. I mean, we had a girl in a couple weeks ago, and she was one of the girls that didn't poop for 14 days on a vacation. And she's like, "Look at the scale, Marina," and it was literally 10 pounds of poop that she unloaded. It's mind blowing what comes out of people. Like it'll
How do
blow
you
your mind.
not poop that long? I'm amazed. I think I've maybe not pooped for 3 days, and that was like the worst.
I know, I know. I hear you. So, anyways, after my colon hydrotherapist, I worked with her. We ended up correcting it. Every once in a while, I wanted to go in basically to kind of just do a reset, or maybe I was starting to get constipated again. So she ended up retiring. So I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now that she's retired? So I was going around in the valley looking for a colon hydrotherapist, and I just didn't find what I was looking for. I just didn't find what I was looking for, and I thought, you know what, I'm burnt out on this, and I want to give back. And I want to help people. We're going to talk about poop. We're going to talk about constipation. And this was in 2014, so a little over a decade ago. And I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go get certified. I'm going to be a colon hydrotherapist. I'm going to open up like this world-class facility. It's going to look like a wellness center. It's going to be bougie, clean, clinical, have a naturopathic doctor on site. And that's exactly what we did.
Okay, well, next time I go to Scottsdale, Arizona, I'm coming and I'm getting a colonic with you, okay? All right, so if you have liver issues or a sluggish liver, should you be getting colonics?
Yes, absolutely. I think the liver is so underrated. I mean, that's like our mothership, right? And she's always filtering out toxins. Like our blood filters out through our liver like every 4 minutes. So, we're exposed to like over thousands of toxins per day. And I feel like she needs like a little bit of hug and a little bit of TLC. So, over time your liver gets kind of fatty and sluggish. So I'm a big believer in detoxing my liver. At least my husband and I, we do it every quarter. We'll detox our liver because it just needs help now more than ever, right? Like 30, 40 years ago, we weren't exposed to this many toxins. Now we are. So I think it's very beneficial to do a colonic if you're doing a liver cleanse. We see it all the time.
If you love to cook, bake, or know someone who does, then I'm pretty sure this is for you. Every time I cook eggs in my Instagram stories, my DMs get flooded with questions about the nonstick pan I use to create such perfect eggs. I'm not gatekeeping, I promise. The pans I use are from the company Our Place. I'm sure you've heard of them, but if you haven't, they are a female founded company that creates non toxic cookware and bakeware, as well as cutting boards, tableware, and even an air fryer that looks so stylish sitting on my counter. Their nonstick cookware is made with ceramic, but most importantly, they're made without PFAS, PFOAs, lead, cadmium, and they're also oven safe for up to 450 degrees for all your favorite stovetop to oven recipes. If you're making an effort to buy non-toxic food and ingredients, but still cooking and baking with toxic materials, it's time to rethink that strategy because all your good quality food is being prepared in a toxic pan where chemicals are being leached back into your food. I have been obsessed with Our Place, and I know you will be too. But if you're not, you can return it within 100 days with free shipping and returns, so you really have nothing to lose. This makes for a great Christmas gift for others and, of course, yourself. If you want to save some money, you know I got you. Just go to FromOurPlace.com and enter my code DIGEST at checkout to receive a discount. That's FromOurPlace.com and use code DIGEST. I saw a woman at the store reaching for some children's cough syrup, and I wanted to stop her in her tracks and tell her all the harmful stuff she was about to give her child, but I refrained. She probably didn't know any better and has been deceived by marketing like so many of us have. Looking back, I wish I would have told her all about the antibacterial and antiviral benefits of Manucora honey. This stuff is medicine and is safe to give to children over 1 year of age. Did you know that Manuka honey has been shown in clinical studies to have potent inhibitory activity against the influenza virus? Keep in mind, this is not just raw honey, but Manuka honey in particular. It can even help stomach ulcers, and in one study, it lowered the risk of H. pylori. Other studies have shown that regular consumption of Manuka honey can help control strains of C. diff, which is a type of bacteria that causes severe diarrhea and inflammation of the bowels. And the best part, there's no side effects or harm to the body, unlike these other over-the-counter drugs. I always recommend Manucora honey because it contains an MGO of at least 850. And the higher the MGO, the more potent the antibacterial and antiviral properties in the honey. Other Manuka honey on the market offers MGOs of 50 to 300, but Manucora honey contains 850, and they test every batch to ensure its potency. They don't just make the claim, they test every batch and include a QR code on each bottle so you can view the lab results for yourself. Now is the best time to try Manucora honey. They're running their biggest sale of the year from now to December 2nd. Head to manucora.com/digest to get $150 off your first order with their Black Friday starter kit, which comes with an MGO of 850, Manucora honey jar, 35 honey travel sticks, a wooden spoon, and a guidebook. That's manucora.com/digest for $150 off your first starter kit. Well, and this is so funny because what would you say to a naysayer that's like, well, your liver is supposed to be detoxing? Because this was like a few years ago, I posted something on my Instagram like, oh, this is a liver detox. And it was like grapefruit with some olive oil and you like drink it in the morning. And anyways, and people were actually mad at me because they were like, well, your liver doesn't need to detox. Your liver is the detoxer, right? And so what would you say to those people?
I would say this. I would say your liver, your body should naturally be detoxing. There's no question, right? Your liver should naturally be detoxing. But now today with what's going on, and we're exposed to, the glyphosate and just all the plastics, we're exposed to more toxins than ever before. So I don't know how long ago that was, but now it's our liver is like being taxed, right? Like we need to help it. Like I said, give it a little TLC. Hence the reason why I created a liver tea, and I drink it like almost every day, because why wouldn't we not? So I think your liver needs support. I mean, think about it. People are detoxing their houses, their cats, their minds, their dogs, they're detoxing their cars, they're all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, listen, we eat 3 meals a day. Why wouldn't we be detoxing our liver, our gut? You know what I mean?
Great point. Okay, so what's in your liver tea?
Our liver tea is so good. It has all these great USDA organic herbs. So we have peppermint, chamomile, milk thistle, yellow dock root. We've got burdock root and dandelion root.
I love all of those. Oh
I
my
know. And
gosh.
then you'll love our anti-parasitic tea that we just launched. It's super yummy. I'll have to get some shipped out to you.
Oh my gosh, I would love to try. Now, the anti-parasitic tea, does it give you side effects? You know how if you go through a parasite cleanse, you kind of feel gross. Do you feel that with the tea?
Not at all.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I'm
been a
all
game.
for it.
Yeah, because going back to the mold, I mean, I got hit with black mold and I didn't even know I had black mold and I had to start detoxing like crazy. So we ended up creating the anti-parasitic tea and I've been parasite cleansing for well over a year now. And it's probably a year to almost date that I got exposed to black mold in my lungs and it like took me out. Like I was bedridden for 2.5 months. I was so incredibly sick. I couldn't breathe. It was terrible.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I had mentioned I have mold too, and it's in my lungs. And it's so weird because everyone's like, Bethany, you eat so clean. You live such a it's like it's not from the food you eat. You breathe it, like you inhale it. It's your, whatever's around you. And who knows how long I've had it. I probably before I got married, honestly, like it's probably been years. And it kicks butt, let me tell you. But can you elaborate on mold and the connection with colonics and how it helps?
Yeah. So for me, well, first of all, when you have mold, there's a direct correlation between parasites and mold. So, and I didn't know that at first. I feel like mold is a silent epidemic that no one's talking about. I would have never known that I had black mold in my lungs if and I didn't know what it was because I was having trouble breathing. And I talked to my doctor and I said, "Hey, I can't breathe." He said, "Let's do a blood work. Mycoplasma is going around a really bad bacteria, and it's like walking pneumonia." And I thought, okay. He called me back. He's like, your levels are so high, Marina, like you need to get on antibiotics right away. And I thought, antibiotics? I've been on them in like 30 years. So he put me on 22 days of antibiotics and I started detoxing. And then I came into his office the week later. He said, let's do this mold test that you prepaid for. I said, yeah, may as well. And so we did. He called me back. He said, I've never in my 25 years have seen mold levels, black mold this high. And so colonics completely saved my life along with coffee enemas and the castrol packs. There's no question. I was unloading so much waste and parasites when I started detoxing from black mold. I mean, doctors were quoting me 90,000 cash, 50,000 cash. I thought like, who can afford this? And there was no guarantee. My husband looked at me and he said, Marina, can we please try starting off with the wellness tools that we have created and at our wellness center? And I said, yep. Let's do it. So I was doing like 3 colonics a week, 3 coffee enemas a week. And I was trying to create space. I was trying to pull it out of me is what I was trying to do because it was so bad. The inhalers weren't working. The nebulizer wasn't working. Like I physically was like gasping for air. So come to find out, I ended up getting black mold in a steam room. Well, I was ingesting it for months after months after months, and I didn't know where I got it from until several months into my journey.
See, that's why I am a no when in steam rooms. If you want to go into a sauna, do a dry sauna. Don't do a wet sauna.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think I'll ever go into a steam room again after that. I mean, it was so serious. Like my husband and I were writing our living will. Like I was literally bedridden for about 2.5 months, especially when it gets into your chest and you can't breathe. It's super scary. But like I tell everyone, I'm like, colonics absolutely saved my life along with the coffee enemas because the coffee enemas helped really detox my liver, right? And my liver enzymes were so high because it's like purging all this black mold out of it and it needed a little TLC. So doing the coffee enemas helped boost the glutathione by like 500 to 600% and really, it really just started making me feel better. I mean, that's our master antioxidant. We got to take care of it.
Indeed. Do you think colonics or enemas are more or which one is more beneficial for detoxing the liver?
Oh, I think they're both great. I think that the coffee enema is really effective. And really, what a coffee enema is basically when you do, first of all, we have our own line of coffee enema. And what separates it is, first of all, you want to make sure it's USDA organic. That's super important because there's a lot of teas and coffees contaminated with different things such as mold and just gross stuff. So always make sure it's USDA organic would be my biggest tip. But when you do a coffee enema, it's going through your rectum. So it's not going through your digestive system. So you're not like drinking it and it's like waking up the whole nervous system. It's going through your rectum basically. And it's going to shoot through the hepatic portal valve and go straight to the liver. And what it's doing is, and what makes coffee enema so special, I guess you can say, is it's got palmitic acid in it. And think of it like supercharged caffeine. And so when you're doing the coffee enema, it's basically waking up the bile ducts, and then it's going to transport all the bile, think of it like a little dump truck, out of you. So you're going to pee and poop it out. So, and it's also going to increase the glutathione in your liver that's produced in your liver. And it's going to help kind of mop up stuff and help regenerate that glutathione, which it's that master antioxidant. We need that, right?
Okay. So when you do, I want to talk more about enemas, but when you do a colonic, should we be taking binders the day before or any prep we should be doing?
Yeah, I mean, and this is just my opinion. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose, but I mean, I'm a big believer in binders. I take a binder every day. I take the biotoxin binder by Cellcore. I absolutely love it. And I'll take that the day of, the day before, the day after. The thing with the binders, you do typically want to keep it away from food because it'll kind of nip and still from it. But Cellcore's got a terrific one.
I have that one actually too. I heard that one particularly doesn't rob you from like nutrients or other supplements.
That
No?
is correct. Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah, that's why I picked that one. I like that one. Um, okay, so after a colonic, should we be doing probiotics? Anything we need to do after?
I would say make sure that you're hydrating. After a colonic, I like to eat something light, like bone broth, a soup, steamed. You and I are pretty similar when it comes to food. I mean, I don't do well with raw veggies. They're pretty hard on my system. They create a lot of gas, a lot of havoc in my system. They always have. I mean, that's just me. So I'm more on the steamed, cooked side, especially after a colonic. Just you want something kind of gentle and warm versus something like that's going to be hard on your body, like, eating like a salad afterwards. It just creates gas. Eating cauliflower, it's going to create gas afterwards. It's a bit hard and it's cold.
Okay. Now, why is the lymphatic system so important to our bodies?
I think the lymphatic system, I mean, people need to understand that's our drainage system. And, you got hundreds of lymph nodes in your lymphatic system. And like when I got black mold, my lymphatic system was so suppressed. Hence because the mold was taking me down. So I had to do a lot of lymphatic drainage because your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like your cardiovascular system. And mind you, I'm over here bedridden, with the black mold, and I had to get up every 45 minutes and do stuff. And then I had to go get lymphatic drainage treatments to get my lymphatic system, the little freeway system, moving. And in there, you've got your lymph nodes. Think of it like little dump trucks or little pit stops where it's going and basically processing all the lymphatic fluid and cleaning everything out. Because basically lymphatic system is where everything, all the cells and the tissues are dumping stuff. And so your lymphatic system is in there trying to clear it all out and catch all the bad guys. So it's not, taking your immune system down. So I'm a big believer in lymphatic drainage and movement, rebounding, anything you can get to create that movement so you can start peeing and pooping and draining. And I think that's probably the biggest misconception that people have out there when it comes to doing any type of cleanse or detox. The number one tip people don't talk about enough is opening up the drainage pathways and draining and dumping. I mean, we see them every single day where they're like, I'm on a parasite cleanse. I'm like, well, wait a minute, you're not even pooping. What are you doing? They're like, well, no one told me, no one educated me. So I really want to educate people on the fact that if you're going to do any type of cleanse, make sure you're peeing, you're pooping, you're sweating. If not, you will recirculate all those toxins. Your body will have this Herx reaction. You'll get super bloated and you're not going to feel well at all. And your lymphatic system is just going to, there'd be a lot of havoc going on because you're reabsorbing the same stuff over and over.
That's a great point. If you are doing a detox, especially parasite detox, if you're not pooping, then where are the parasites going?
Exactly. Yeah, people just don't talk about that. I mean, there's so many things out there right now on TikTok and social media. And, clients, they want to do all the things. They want that magic pill. They want to be pooping. So, they're like, I'm going to do the parasite cleanse, or I'm going to do this or that. I'm like, okay, hold on. Let's just back it up a little bit. And we're finding that people are just doing so much. I'm like, the other day I had a conversation with a gal. I'm like, well, what's working? She goes, to be honest, I don't really know. I'm taking so many things, 30 supplements. I'm on 2 different cleanses. And I just looked at her like, wow,
Yeah. Well, and I've actually had to take a step back because I'm one of those people that are like, I'm going to do all the things, take all the supplements. And I'm like, okay, first of all, which ones are working? Which ones are actually making me worse? Because there was a time where I actually felt worse taking all of the supplements. And I was like, let me just start from scratch again because they can make you feel worse if you're doing too
100%.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, and I understand. I mean, I'm like you too. Like, I want to do all the things and, detoxing from mold and parasites for the past year. Like, I'm kind of burnt out right now. So, like, taking, all these supplements or taking all these tinctures, I'm just really focusing on the basics and making sure my drainage pathways are open, making sure I'm doing my infrared sauna, my coffee enemas. I'm, doing colonics. I'm doing all of the things. I take a few supplements, but I've really backed away from a lot of things.
Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not detoxing, then what's the point?
Yeah, I tell people don't waste your money on that parasite cleanse that's $500 or $300 or even $50, or I don't care what type of cleanse it is. Don't waste your money on it if you're not pooping, because that's our managed drainage pathway. That's where we expel and detox and get everything out. And unfortunately, people just aren't educated on that. So I'm happy I'm here and telling people, make sure your drainage pathways and detox pathways are open. Your organs, your liver, your kidneys, your gallbladder, like make sure that's all draining and dumping.
Yes. Are you familiar with the ileocecal valve? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Can you explain what that is? It's on the lower right side, right, of your abdomen.
Yeah, so basically with colon hydrotherapy, what's going to happen is, you're going to absorb your food in your small intestines, and the first dump is going to be right there, the ileocecal valve and the cecum, and it's going to dump right into there, and then into the cecum, and then basically your poop, in order to evacuate and transit out of you, has to come up underneath your rib cage and down your left side, and you'll eventually eliminate it out. But I don't think what people realize is that it has to travel like 5 to 6 feet in order to evacuate and to get out. So if you're having motility issues, it could be a lot longer.
Let's talk about colostrum for a second. It's everywhere. I mean, everyone is talking about it, and let's face it, everyone is promoting it, and it can be quite confusing which brand is truly the best because not all colostrum is created equal with good farm practice morals. I first started taking Armor colostrum about 4 years ago before anyone knew about them and before any other company jumped on the bandwagon. Sadly, when something becomes a hot topic, many other brands quickly bust out the same thing, but with less quality and sell it at a cheap price just to be a part of the trend. So you end up getting a lesser product and little to no results. Don't be fooled by others. Armor colostrum uses a cold chain biopotent technology that distills over 200 functional nutrients, guaranteeing the highest bioactive integrity and bioavailability. Another great thing about Armor is that they only extract and use the surplus colostrum from USA grass-fed, pasture-raised happy cows that are no longer needing it to supply their young. So you're not taking it away from animals that need it. Only the surplus colostrum is used. Armor has 3 flavors, orange, watermelon, and unflavored, which is my personal favorite. It has no flavorings and just one single ingredient. It tastes like creamy milk, yet it's suitable for those with dairy sensitivities because it contains no casein, which is the protein most people with a dairy allergy react to. And Armor has many dairy sensitive customers. And we worked out a special offer for my audience. You can receive 30% off your first subscription order. Just go to armra.com/digest or enter code digest at checkout to get 30% off your first subscription order. That's armra.com/digest. Some causes of constipation, a lot of people are familiar with. I asked you if too much fiber is causing constipation. You said yes, and I am a firm believer in that. And I actually eat a lower fiber diet because I feel like it's just clogging you up more.
Yeah, especially the psyllium husk. A lot of people are like, oh, I thought I was supposed to be taking that. I'm like, oh my gosh, when I would take that, I would get even more backed up. I feel like it was almost like cement, and it's really harsh, like kind of harsh on the system. So I took that out a long time ago. I mean, like, think about it, eating an apple or even a pear a day, you'll hit your fiber content. So there's different things that you can do with food.
I'm all about the pears. I love pears for constipation. much better than the prunes or prune juice. And if people drink a lot of coffee, can that dehydrate you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a diuretic. So it's like, too much coffee, sometimes too much tea. So I always tell people just find that balance. It goes back to the 80-20 rule. Just kind of try to balance it out. Maybe one day you had too much coffee, maybe the next day recognize that, and then really focus more on hydrating, getting electrolytes and minerals into your system.
Okay. So how much water should we really be drinking?
They typically say take your body weight, cut it in half, and that's bare bones how many ounces you should be drinking per day. I mean, you know,
All right. Well, there you go. And I would argue, again, you can disagree or agree with me, but I would argue that if you're not eating enough, you'll be constipated. Because think about it. People are like, well, I'm not eating enough. I don't feel like I'm going to the bathroom. When I'm like, well, how much are you eating? And it's like, well, if you're not eating, then you're not going to be pooping.
yeah. Or sometimes I find their diet, I even fell into this category. My diet was so clean, I wasn't getting any good fats. And I wasn't taking like any omegas. So it was just really dry. My whole system was just dry. I was eating way too clean. I took out all the fats because remember back in the day, it was like, don't eat fats. Now it's like, eat fats. Yeah, yeah. So I agree.
Yeah, well, coconut oil, apparently, this is just a personal thing, but anything coconut oil, that will do the trick, you guys.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so you had mentioned and you talked about enemas a little bit. Can you dive into that a little bit more?
Yeah, so I love enemas. I've been doing them for decades, and there's two things I'll say about enemas. And we actually created a stainless steel enema kit and a silicone kit. It's BPA free, and you can travel with it, and it's great. And I always travel with it. But there's two types. I mean, one, I like to do a distilled water enema. So if somebody's dealing with constipation, I'm like, wait, hold off on the coffee enema, right? Let's hold off on that coffee enema and let's get you pooping and let's get that detox pathway open. So you can start off with a distilled water. You always want clean water, right? That's why I always say do distilled. And you can start off doing water enemas. And then you can graduate once you start pooping up to coffee enemas and really start focusing on liver detoxifying and all these other great things.
Okay. And does it matter stainless steel or like the little water bottle bag?
Everyone has their own preference.
Okay. I have both and I like both for different reasons.
Same. Me too.
Okay. Now let's talk about the whole castor oil hype for a second. What's your opinion on that? And I know there's a lot of different methods and patches and things like that.
Castor oil has been around since like 1500 BC. I think it's such an ancient, beautiful remedy, and it's a great wellness tool. And I've always used castor oil packs because they help me with my constipation and detoxifying my liver. The one we created is beautiful. It's got 3 layers of organic bamboo, and then the cloth itself, it has 4 layers of organic cotton. And we started diving down this when we were creating stuff. And what we were finding is, like you said, there's these plastic patches and stuff like that, that in our wellness space, when it came to the enemas and the castor oil packs, they were all being shipped in from different countries. And so we are super proud to say that we are US female based, and we're one of the only ones out there providing this castor oil packs now and these enemas. We're super proud of that. It's here in the United States that we're doing that. So that was important to us. I just had a girl use one of those patches 2 weeks ago, and she said she left it on overnight and she has this massive rash now and she can't get rid of it. And I'm like, listen, first of all, where's this castor oil little sticker patch coming from? She goes, I don't know. I think it's coming from overseas. I said, okay, great. And I said, well, it looks like there's plastic on it. She goes, yeah, that's what I thought too. And I'm like, and then you're putting heat and it's activating it and it's seeping into your skin. So I don't know what's in those patches, but there's no way I would be using one at all. That's just my opinion. You want to stick to organic cotton if you're going to put anything on your body. And I like to pour my oil onto my castor oil pack, onto that cloth. And then I have a castor oil pack that fits me nice and snug. I'll put the heating pad on it. What it's doing, that heat's now going to activate your lymphatic tissues, and the castor oil is going to seep into the skin. Castor oil is very anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial. So it's such a beautiful thing. Once it starts to, and it's very, creates circulation. So once it starts seeping into your abdomen area when you have your castor oil pack on. It's creating kind of like that wave-like motion, creating kind of like that peristalsis on waking up your bowels. Our castor oil pack will also cover the right side of your abdomen for your liver. So you can target both of those areas at one time. And what castor oil is doing, it's activating and it's trying to open up those bile ducts. It's stimulating, creating circulation to open up those bile ducts to try to get that bile out. Think of bile like a little dump truck, like let's get those toxins out, get the bile open and moving out of our liver. So castor oil packs are extremely beneficial for constipation, liver detoxifying, and of course for beauty. I mean, your hair, your nails, it's just very universal.
Yeah, I heard actually that castor oil is one of the few oils that doesn't clog your pores.
Yeah, it's fantastic. What makes castor oil special is it has rinoxalic acid in it, and not many oils at all have rinoxalic acid in it. And just think of it like a really fatty compound, rich, like a omega-9. And so that's what separates it from all the other oils out there. And that's why it does a lot of, I guess you can say, a lot of healing, right? A lot of healing properties. I mean, it's antimicrobial, it's anti-inflammatory. So a lot of people that are feeling bloated or inflamed, they'll put their castor oil pack on, wake up in the morning and go, wow, I feel great. I feel less inflamed.
What's your opinion on putting it in your belly button?
I'm not sure why people are doing that. I think that went viral on TikTok. And I just had a conversation yesterday with a gal and I thought, do what you want to do. If you're finding that it's helpful, then go for it. I like to wear my castor oil pack, and you have to keep in mind that castor oil does stain. So a lot of people don't know that. So you don't want your castor oil pack like leaking out, or if you're going to put it on your belly button, if you've got your cotton sheets that are $200, just make sure you understand that it will stain clothing or sheets. So. But I don't know. I haven't tried it really in my belly button. I put it on over my whole abdomen and liver area when I do my castor oil packs.
Okay. I tried it in my belly button. I also did mustard seed oil in my belly button. And if you haven't tried that, that was interesting. And it actually helped.
Good.
Which was weird. I know it's weird, but I feel like it helped, not obviously to the full extent of like a colonic or an enema, but I think it did. But to each his own, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm like, hey, if it works for you, great,
Yeah. Okay. Going back to poop.
Yep.
Is there a pooping window? Like, should we be pooping at the same time every day?
Well, if you want to figure out what your transit time is, what I will tell people is this. You want to eat corn or red beets, and you can figure out what your transit time is, if that makes sense. I have a pooping window. Mine's at 7 a.m. When I got hit with mold, that all changed. I started getting constipated again. That's a whole different story. But I'm back to regular bowel movements at 7 a.m. It's like, oh, I gotta go. And when people are traveling, you start to miss that window or in different time zones. And that hence the reason why we find a lot of people get constipated on trips. And I understand they're on different time zones. I mean, even being on the airplane is going to kind of throw your body into some havoc,
Yeah, I know for sure. Okay, that's a good thing to point out. Now, are there anyone that should not get colonics? Pregnant women or anything?
Yeah, I would say like if you've had abdominal surgery within the last 3 months, you're probably not a good candidate. If you have hemorrhoids that are flaring up, you're probably not a good candidate. If you're pregnant, I would say definitely consult with your doctor. Always consult with your doctor for anything, right?
Okay. So anyone that has hemorrhoids or active hemorrhoids.
Correct. Yeah, that's one of the contraindications. And we have a list of contraindications too. So when you're filling out the intake form, the client will go through them and stuff, whether you're a good candidate or not. So not everyone's going to be a great candidate for it.
Okay. Now, how do you find a reputable colonic clinic? Because I've seen some shady ones out there.
That's why we created Scottsdale Hydrotherapy, because I just really, like I said, I mean, I have these standards and these sanitization levels, and it was important for me to go, out and to get certified as a colon hydrotherapist. There is such thing. It's called the IAC, the International Association for Colon Hydrotherapy. That was really important. When I was looking for my new colon hydrotherapist, and I would tell anyone this, you can go to IAC and there's a list of colon hydrotherapists that have that certification, which is beautiful. But like vet them out like anything else, right? Like I looked at Google reviews. I went and kind of shopped their places to make sure that I felt comfortable. I mean, some people had incense going and, that incense, I can't breathe the incense in, so that wasn't a good fit for me. And it's just, like anything, just vet them out, find out what their background is, have a conversation with them, look at reviews. Like you said, there's some sketchy places out there. Well, I ran into the same problem. So
Yeah.
make sure you know
Okay.
about them.
Now, how much is a colonic on a scale?
It varies. I think you can find colonics anywhere from 100 to $140 a session. The first time's always going to be a bit more, so it'll be closer to probably 140, 150 for that first timer session. But I find that it really varies per state where you're at. It does. What's included in that colonic. Ours tend to be a little bit more, but we're also providing the client with the shaker plate, the vibrational plate that they can do before their colonic. We have fresh herbal tea. We have a wellness bar area. We have electrolytes that they can get hydrated with. We have the biomat, the infrared sauna that they are laying on. Their back is laying on that throughout their whole session. And a lot of people will charge for vibrational plate and that's okay. Everyone just kind of does it a little bit differently. So I think when it comes to cost, you're going to find it fluctuate a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So
You have like a whole wellness center, and that sounds as if you guys are in Scottsdale, Arizona, definitely check this place out. Now, can we get too many colonics? Like how many is too many?
I think that depends. I mean, people are working with their practitioners and they're on different protocols. So it really kind of depends. They'll come in and say, my doctor has me on this protocol or that protocol. And we review the protocol with them and make sure, they're in good hands. And, you have to use colonics as more of a wellness tool, not like a crutch, right? Is what I tell people. So, it's going to be different per person. Like we have somebody right now that they're going through cancer and they're going through alternative cancer treatment, more holistically. And, the doctor has her coming in 2 times a week for the next 3 weeks. So it just really depends on the person. And, the Lyme patient that we're working with right now looks a little bit differently. So, but we do, as a colon hydrotherapist, we monitor and control that for sure.
Okay, that kind of leads me into my next question. Should we be getting regular colonics, like on a regular basis? And if so, what does quote regular look like? Like once a week, once a month?
That's a really good question. I always say, listen to your body. First of all, are you pooping? Listen to your body. Like a lot of people will come to us and they're healthy and they're like, I want to reset. I just want to kind of reset. So they'll come to us every quarter and do about 3 sessions with us and they feel amazing after that 3rd session. And, some people are traveling overseas for a month or 2. They'll come back and say, gosh, I just really need a reset. So they'll do a series of 3 with us and they just feel so much better. So I think it really depends on the person, whether they're dealing with mold, Lyme, healthy, athlete. It's just, we see all walks of life. So I think it's going to be a bit different for everybody. I've got a gal that does it once a month, so it really depends on the person and what they're trying to achieve.
Okay. So would you say maybe 3 is the magic number if you're dealing with maybe, I don't know, skin acne or what if you're dealing with parasites?
Yeah, I would say 3 is a good starting point. Start off there, see what kind of results you get. I know when I was exposed to parasites, I mean, I was doing 2 colonics per week for several weeks.
Okay. So 2 a week is fine.
It was for me, yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's body's so different too, Bethany. It's like, and everyone's kind of dealing with something else. So it's always hard to answer. There's not like one question. It's not like one size fits all because everyone's body and everyone's going through such a different health journey.
Okay. Okay. Now that totally makes sense. Now, where can people find you on social media, your website, your products, all that good stuff?
Okay, so you can find our wellness center at scottsdalehydrotherapy.com. We do have a website. We also have Instagram. And I would encourage people to definitely check out trustyourgut.shop. That's our Instagram. And those were where I wanted to provide wellness tools that everyone could afford. I wanted them to be high quality, very affordable. So people that don't have access to colonics, they can start their journey, whether they're trying to detox from mold, whether they're constipated, they can get a jump on this and start drinking some of our herbal teas, start off with maybe a water enema, start off with castor oil packs. But you can find us at trustyourgut.shop. We are on social media. We're also on TikTok as well. And for your listeners out there, we do have the code for them on your first purchase with any of our Trust Your Gut products. You guys can type in Little Sipper and you'll get 10% off on your order.
Amazing. Okay, you guys hear that? Little Sipper, 10% off. I'll make sure to put all of those links in today's show notes. So if you go to today's show notes, you can just find everything with one easy tap. Marina, thank you so much for sharing not only your personal story, but sharing with the world about colonics and making this taboo topic not so taboo.
Thank you so much for having me on, and let's continue to spread the word about breaking this norm on constipation and talking about poop and daily bathroom habits. And we need people to start pooping every day.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Digest This. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review in your podcast app to let us know. If you're ever wondering how you can support me and this podcast, sharing it with your friends and family is the best way. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson and edited by Mike Fry. To check out more shows by my team, go to wellnessloud.com, and to email the show, message us at digestthispod@gmail.com. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team first.
Are you ready to rock middle age? I'm Dr. Tina Moore, Gen X truth teller and holistic physician. On the Dr. Tina Show, one of Apple Podcast's top alternative health shows, I share what actually works for metabolic health, hormones, and strength, backed by decades of clinical results, not trends. From loving the gym and hitting your protein goals to peptides and microdosing GLP-1s, it's all done the right way, not the hype way. Because menopause doesn't have to suck if you're fit. New episodes every Thursday, produced by Drake Peterson and Wellness Loud.